Hi everyone, Emma here. I want to show you how to make this lovely bracelet. Now, I say this one, but we're going to do one with different components, but it's basically all the same stuff. So let's take a look at this one first. So the idea came from, I should have brought up the person's name. So somebody, and I will look it up and link that video with this so that if you want to take a look at her design. She did a little different, but she basically used this lovely rubber cord that I got from AliExpress, and then she took it and put it on wire. This is 18 gauge copper finish wire, or not copper, antique. I'm trying to think. I didn't know what they call this one. Um, but it's like an antique color. And yeah, and she creates a bracelet with it. So this is how it works. So it's wire, so it keeps its shape, and you put it on. So you can stretch it out to get it on, and then stretch it, squeeze it back to close it, and just squeeze like that. And how easy is that? So this is big for me, but this like is beautiful. I love it. I think it's like an amazing idea. So I had looked up how to use this rubber tube, and I came across that video. So I'll link it for you. So I think what we need to do is, and if you're interested, I can do a video showing you this one, but we'll basically do the same thing with these components here, and the white and pink, because I love pink, and white because I'm a nurse. So that's my idea. So let's just put this one aside, and we'll use it as an example if we need to. We'll get rid of that. So I bought this like before Easter. I wanted to do some beaded chain, but I wanted the wire to be pink. So I ordered this on Amazon. I love it. Um, I say I love it. It looks gorgeous. I haven't used it yet, so we're going to use it now. We're going to figure this out. And so you need your whatever rubber tubing you're using. I am using a 1 millimeter. Um, I kind of was looking for something that thin, but you know what? I realized after looking at some other stuff that I probably should have got a 2 millimeter at least. They go up to, I think, a 4 to a 5 millimeter. But I'll just quickly show you one of the bracelets with memory wire that I made that is so cute. But you can see it's very dainty because it's so thin, the wire. But it's still lovely. There's so much stuff you could do with it. So I have another bracelet design that's actually my design that I will show you in another video. So let's find the end here. Pull that out. And that's unraveling. So this is 18 gauge, and it's just pink craft wire, I think they call it. Let me see. Jewelry wire. Oh, it's 20 gauge. I lied. I think the other is 20 gauge as well. So there you go. And I did write out the sizes that I need. Okay, so you need 3 wires. So you have your top wire, your bottom wire, and your middle wire that's going to hold your beads on. So what I did was I took one wire, folded it in half, and then had a second piece of wire. So one of your wires, now you can take and just do 3 all the same size. Well, it won't necessarily be the same size because this here goes up and around, so it's a little longer than the middle one. But you know what? The amount of wire that it uses, I would just cut all the same, and then whatever you have to cut off later, you cut off. It's not a big deal. But if you only have a bit of wire, definitely measure the difference. So I'm going to cut a 15 inch, and then an 1/8". So let's get my ruler. So I'm not gonna mess with this end piece. You can straighten that out. Let's go. There's 12. What did I say? 15. So then 3. Okay. I apologize. That's a little bit off camera. I'm too close. So there's one piece, and then the second piece is 8. So let's go. This would be the middle that's going to hold the beads. Maybe go there. And let's get this into there. Put that aside. The other thing that you're going to need to cut, of course, is your tubing, and you need a 2 7-inch. So I'm going to use the pink for the middle. So the middle piece is only 6 inches, because if you look at this, your middle piece you're going to cut in half, because you're going to put it from here to here, because then you have your beads. Okay, so that's why you have to cut it in half, and that's why you don't need as much. So then the other, your color that goes on the outside, and you could use all the same color too. These ones, you're going to cut 2 7-inch. This would probably fit a 7 to 7.5-inch wrist, and you can alter it too, depending on the wrist size. So that's good in that way, because you could always take this part like that, this piece here, and fold it even more over without actually having to cut it. So it would come to like that, but these curly cues would come a little closer. So, okay, so we've got all of that. I'm gonna get my nylon pliers somewhere in here, so that I can straighten that piece out. So there's this area here too that's kind of bent, but you know what? I might not worry about that right now, but I will try and bend that. So I'm just going to hang on with my pliers, see if I can straighten this out a bit. There. So you could harden your wire, and that's, you just take your nylon pliers and you go across the full length a few times. It straightens it out, and it also hardens it. At this point, because we're going to be doing 3 strands and there's going to be tubing, I don't think it's entirely necessary, but you might want to do it. So let's start with the button. So here, so you do need some like beads and stuff, you know, a bead on each side, so that it would go gradually around your circular bead. So mine's not as big as this one, so I don't need. I'm just thinking, why did I? You know what? I probably had this designed a certain way. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think what I did was like this, this, this. There's a small one too. I think I put the small on the end. So it's actually, we may not need as much of the pink. Now, that's laying flat. Once it's straight up and down, it'll shorten it a bit. So actually, let's take this and cut it in half right now. So I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to cut it. Those two. Okay, so we have our button. So that's where we start. you want to add your wires to your button. However you do that is kind of your choice. I'll show you how I did it now. Because I'm bending this over, I'm going to just put one in through, find the midpoint to my wire, and I will fold it. So I'm just kind of, it doesn't have to be perfect. And you know what? The biggest thing, don't forget, have fun. Because it's so much fun creating. I'm just like, I love it. Okay, so I've got it pinched a little bit, but the button's kind of moving around. So I want that nice and snug and not to move around. So I was trying to figure out the way I did it on the other one was the first time trying, so it's a bit messy. I would like it to be a little neater. But I'm gonna take my these pliers because they're coated with the rubber, and hopefully that will prevent any scuffing up of the wire. Let's take a look. Let's see if we can get that. Maybe get that one folded down like that. Still kind of, let's see if we can pull it this way. There, that's a little better. So now I would wrap one around the other wire a few times. Actually, I wonder if I could turn my button. It's very wobbly with this at this point, but it will get better. Let me see if I hold this. That, and then see if I can get this one. And the wires are like all over the place. So you see what I mean? It's just like, let's see if we can squeeze these together. So I kind of picked the 20 gauge because it's a little softer than the 18, but you can see it's still, it's kind of firm. This feels like it's going to break, but it may have just been because I was going over the button. Let's see if we can get one more loop here, like that. And then we'll straighten it out. So wire wrapping is not my expertise at all. I love it, and I see the videos and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do that. And this is like, I get all these bent wires and I get frustrated. So like I said, the advice I gave you is supposed to be fun. So let's just straighten that out now, like that. And we'll just pull this one. So we'll just do that. I am going to take my flat nose plier and bring this wire in line with the other one. So let me see if I can create a bend here, like that. And maybe squeeze those guys closer together. There. Okay, so that one's set. I don't like the way it's flipping flopping because it was doing the same with this one. I did manage to get it a little tighter, but maybe with the third strand it will work out. So take your third strand, put it in, and you're just going to loop it around. Let me see what I did on that one. Yeah, so it ended there. So that. And I'm just taking a little piece of it to bend over, and hopefully we can get this. I'm going to adjust my camera here. So let's see if we can get this nice and snug. And hold that there. See if we can get this looped around nicely. Nope. Frustrating. It's working, but it's just, it doesn't look like I should be instructing you on this. And you can see it scuffed up the wire a bit. So even with the, you can tell it's like coming off a bit. Let's see if we can get this around one more time and tighten it. That will be covered by the rubber tubing, so not too worried. This is probably the hardest part in my opinion, but if you do wire wrapping, this will be easy. This is just... Sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to do it with my fingers like this. Seems to be a little easier. Okay. So let's squeeze that together so it's a little neater. Like that. And we're going to clip that. And I want to make sure that's tucked so it doesn't scratch anybody's arm or wrist. Okay. So I wonder if I can twist these together, then that will straighten out the button. Let's move that in there. I'm just going to twist that around. You know what, that's making a mess, so I apologize for all that. That's just, once we put our piece, it should straighten it out. So let me get my nylon pliers to kind of adjust this a bit. And see if I can tuck this. perfect. Okay, so this is the loose one. This is the middle, so I'm gonna take my pink tubing and put it on there. Then I'm gonna put my white tubing, sorry, my hand's in the way, onto the other piece. That. And then the other one. That. So you see it goes on really easily. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So once we get it all nicely. So this is going to squeeze together like that, so it'll look like that. Okay, so now what we need is a small piece of wire to wrap around this here to hold them together. So we have a piece here. I think it's probably the right size. Let's try it. So about that much. You probably don't need that much. Now I'm going to take and fold over one side like that. And then squeeze it down. And it's going to fit. Over here. So just place it like that. You could probably put a longer fold. Yeah, better put a longer fold. There's the other pliers. I forgot there's a lot of pliers involved in this. I'm going to cut this. It's so much easier on the first fold, and then when you start messing with it, it's like pain in the butt. So there, a little longer. Like that. Let's move these guys over. So I'm making sure all my tubes are down where they need to be. And then I'm going to hold this one. What we're going to do is we're going to wrap it around the tubes. So let's see if we can do this. Maybe hook it. Like that. Oh, let's move those down. Can move that pink one in there. And just fold it over like that. You can use your pliers for this too, but it seems to be working pretty good right now, so I think I'll leave it. And however many folds you do is up to you. And that was so that end I wanted tucked under here, and that's why I was folding it, but again, I am not an expert at wire wrapping, so I will try to turn it this way and tuck it under, and then squeeze everything together. that. And then this one will tuck in. So I'll cut it and I'll try and tuck it under this. When it comes to wire wrap, I'm like, I'll try. It doesn't always work out that way. Okay, so the end's there. Let me see if I can tuck this into the tubing. And then slide that under. And squeeze like that. Squeeze it back together. And then I'm going to take my flat pliers and I'm going to flatten this so that it looks like it's part of the bracelet. Something like that, so the button flips this way. So that's, I mean, it could be better, but that's pretty good for my just making sure that that is tucked in. Just does not want to go in. So it's good idea not to mess with it too much. I probably should have left it. Okay. So that is, and you can like bend this and move it so it's in a nice shape. Okay, so now we're ready to add our beads. I know this is a beading channel. I knew we'd get to it eventually. Okay, so I thought maybe the teeny tiny silver pearl, then a spacer, like that, then a bigger 6mm, then a spacer, then the ribbon, and then spacer, and 6mm spacer, and so at this point too, now because I measured this out for this here, it is close to the, but if it's too wide and you notice like I only have a tiny bit left on this end, so let me see with my tubing, yeah, it's going to be too long. So what you can do is pull these off and just cut a little more off of here. So let's do that. Now it's a little more difficult because now our pink is actually attached, but you can take your cutters and just gently cut about that much rubber tubing. And just be careful because of course you don't want to cut your wire and you don't want to scuff it up. So let's see if we can get these on just by sliding them on. Okay. And we will measure just use the piece you cut off as your measurement. You could leave the whole tube, but it might make it difficult to wrap your wire if the tube's on. So yeah, there's a tiny bit left. So let's grab these guys together. And everything's on it. So again, I'm just kind of maneuvering. So at this point, we're going to put another one of these pink wires here and then on the other side, and we'll move this around this here. So I'll set that down, grab another piece. Might as well cut a few because we're going to need them. We probably don't need the third one because we will use, no, I guess we do need the third. I was thinking we'll use the ends of the other pieces, but that, never mind, that won't work. Don't listen to me. The birds are going crazy out there. Just so lovely. Okay, so let's take the first one. And it's already got a bit of a turn on it. See if we can do this with my hands. Let's see if we can flatten this a bit. And the first turn is a little hard because you're actually crossing over your wire. We mash down our tubes here. Let me move this a bit, open it up. Yeah, I think it's probably better to use your tools for this. Definitely don't do the way I'm doing it. Let me see if I can get a little turn here, like that. Okay. Hang on to this. Getting there. Okay. Let's it in here. Make sure we don't lose our beads. See where we are. Squeeze these guys together. We can clip this a little more. There. Bring that down. I'm gonna fit to there. Let's see if we can tuck that one in. I don't remember the first one being this difficult. I wonder if this wire is tougher. And those, I had to buy a new set of pliers because I dropped those and the tip broke. And I thought those were the new ones, but that tip is broken too. I wonder if it broke when I was using it just now. Let me see. You really need to get in with the tip of the, there. Get rid of that piece. There we go. Get my tools and tuck that in. My poor wire is all bent now. Okay, let's straighten this out. So, there's the first part. Let's get this. Let's create a bit of a loop here. This part here was definitely easier on the other one because the bead is so wide. You just bring your wire around the bead, but of course this one's spinning as well, so that's my excuse. I think this is going to be the last time I do wire wrapping. And you know what's funny? I've done a few wire wrapping videos and I said the exact same thing. I so want to be able to do it, but I just, and people have been so wonderful. They've commented and given me hints and videos to watch and stuff, and I do all that stuff, but it never works out. I think the people that do it all the time, they're so skilled at it that it just looks flawless. We're getting there. It's not exactly where I want it, but let's see if I can bend that a bit. Bend that there. I think part of it is it's not the same as the other one. Maybe there's too much of a bend in it. I think what I might do is just leave it like that, and then I'll bend this white one a little better. Once I get this piece on, let's see if we can get this. Try it differently. I'm not going to add a bend to it. A bit too tight here. So I have 1, 2, 3. There's supposed to be 4 on this side, but you can see the beginning pieces like that needs to go over top. So maybe we'll add a 5th one here. And bring these together. See if we can pull this through a bit. That worked nicely. So definitely with practice it gets better. So let's bend it so I can cut it. There. And there. So that's a little better. Maybe I should just do this all day and see where it takes me. Okay, so this is looking a lot better when you start to round everything. So I have a special mandrel that's meant for rounding your wire. So I'll get that out so that it's a nice round shape, but for the meantime we can just play with that. But I'm rounding it because I want to know where I need to finish these guys off. So we need to finish this guy. What did I do with this one? Ah, you know what? I did use that piece. Now the piece was longer. I did use it. It's coming out of the middle tube and twisting around, but that's not going to work. So maybe if I just twist this one around one of the whites for now, and then we'll add if we need to add, we could always use these guys. Let's squeeze this down like that, like that. So yeah, we are going to need the piece to add that, and then we're going to take these to create our clasp. Okay. So I'll start here, fold this over, and that. Go one more time. See if we can squeeze this together and flatten it. Of course, flattening it makes them separate, so you have to squeeze it back. Okay, so let's fold this one over. Let's cut this one. And leave this in here. And we will tuck these guys in. So I apologize. This is probably not the most entertaining video. Unless you like laughing at my ineptitude. But yeah, I'm concentrating so much that I'm not able to tell you all my lovely stories. So, and I had thought of a few to tell you guys, and now I can't think of them. I definitely got to come up with some birthday stories to tell you, some doozies, if you haven't heard them already. Let's get this guy in here. That's not too bad. It's starting to look pretty. It's unfortunate it got loose. I wonder if there's a way to... That actually worked. Pushing the tubes. Oh, cool. There you go. I learned something. Okay, so now let's create the clasp. So the idea is I wanted to do a loop so that you could just hook it. And because it's wire, it'll hold its shape. So it's not a big deal. It's not going to fall off. So let's do the same. I think we'll get the large mandrel right now. So I got this mandrel from I want to say Art Beads, but I think it was Beadaholic, now that I think of it. And it was $20. It was like 50% off or something like that. This is an amazing mandrel. So this has this block here. It's meant to sit in a vise. And this mandrel is meant for shaping your wire or doing gold or silver work, like shaping the silver. So you can hammer right against this and you've got these lovely big shapes. So let's see what we can manage. So get that on there. I'm just pulling it nice and tight. So this is like the 8 size, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's an 8-inch bracelet, because you can see there's a huge gap. This button is going to sit here, but all I'm doing right now is getting the shape, a circular shape. So and that's it for there. So yeah, I think I ended up paying like $20 for that mandrel. I think there was extra shipping charges. It's solid wood. So I want this to sit this way. Now we can actually check on the other mandrel. I know it sounds crazy, but this is the other mandrel. So let's slide this on, because we do want it to be a wearable size. So you could start your loop here. Let's see what size that is. That's a 7. I think I want at least a 7 1/4. So right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just bend it around like this, just so I have an idea. Of where the bend is, and then we will do what we want in that section. So just pop it out. Now for this one here, I twisted the 2 wires because I wanted them to stay as one, But you know what? Now that I'm like playing with this, this is really hard wire compared to this one. So I want this to be round. So I'm going to take a marker or pen. I don't know where I got this. Butterfly beads. Do you think I do a lot of beading? The company send me swag. So just wrap it around to get a somewhat of a circular shape like that. And it'll go like that. So then you can take these guys and do whatever design you want with it. So I need my round nose pliers. So I'm going to take this one and turn. Like that. And bring it to around the button, but this looks lovely. Like that. And then do the same for the other one. We might have to cut this one. This looks really long. I think I might clip a little piece off now. That's not the way to do it, so. It's Saturday night. I have heat stroke from cycling. This is my third video. Please be kind to me. We're all here to have fun. And it's I'm curling it like it's curling side by side. I'm gonna flatten that so that it goes like you can take it this way here. That's what I probably should have done. Let me so bring that out. Flatten that. And you can take your you should use the proper tools here. Take your flat nose and wrap it around like that. And I kind of wanted a little tighter in the middle, so I'm just kind of grab hold of it and see if I can turn that middle one piece like that. It's not quite doing it here. And flatten. There. Oh, I think I want them closer together. So let's fold this one down a bit. And that one out maybe, like that. See what we got here. So you can see how it's separated, so that's why I twisted it on the other, but you know what, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just gonna try and let's see how that looks. That's what I wanted. There. So there you go. Thank you for joining me. I apologize. This has kind of been a what's that saying? A hot mess. And just shape everything to how you want it. And you could, you know, put some more wire here to get that to sit the way you want it. But I don't think it matters. so let's move this off so you can see what I have. So there is the lovely bracelet. And do you know what's funny about this button? This is a tiara cast button. It's a tree of life. I love these buttons and have a collection of them and stuff. I didn't realize it has a bird in the tree. Isn't that amazing? I'm sure you guys knew. Oh, Emma learns something new every day. So this, you know what? I am gonna play with this to get it where I want it. But definitely, I feel like the thicker button or the thicker bead, like this one here. You see how the wire, it's dark, the wire goes around the edge. So it's, but still, there we go. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you in the next video. There's lots more to come. Yeah. No more wire. Actually, I have one more to do with wire wrapping, but that one should be pretty easy. And don't laugh. Bye.